Alright, hello everybody. I thought that I'd just give a quick video review of this SD card storage case that I bought off Amazon recently. I got a direct question from a guy that he wants to know how true are the negative reviews here. What he's talking about, if I scroll down to the customer reviews, it looks like 42% of people are giving it less than 5 stars. And the biggest complaint that I see is that the cards don't stay in the slots. And one guy even said that the foam, I think, was too firm that he couldn't even get the cards in the slots. So let's just address that. As far as how true the negative reviews are, I don't know that I can comment to that because I don't know who these people are. I don't know whether or not they've got a defective case or not. Surely if they have a defective case, they should call Amazon and RMA it. You know, I've only had to RMA a few things from Amazon ever, and they've been extremely pleasant to work with. So that's, I guess, what I would recommend. So as to that question, I can't call all these people liars because I don't know their situation. But what I can say is it's got a hard plastic case, just like what it describes. It's got this area right up here at the top that has this little hole in it. I would say that's to put a lanyard in, so that you might, I don't know, carry around your neck or tie it to the outside of your backpack or whatever else. It's got this clasp on it right here that actually snaps on pretty decent. I mean, it holds it firm. There's no looseness when it's clamped. The seal seems to be, you know, secure all the way around. I don't see any visible gaps. When I open it up, I can press on the foam, and at least the case I got there, it's pliable enough that I can actually, you know, I can press the foam and it moves. So at least my case, the foam is not hard enough to where you can't press it. I've got these SD card adapters here. I don't have any SD cards available right at the moment, but adapters will do the same trick as an SD card. So I can put them in nice and easily, press them down. The micro SD card, that seems to fit snugly. Underneath this card here, I've got a micro SD card pushed in there, and it seems to fit snugly. So I'm going to put this SD card adapter right there on top of that SD card. Now I've set these SD cards so they're not exactly opposite each other, because what I'm going to do is I'm going to slam this closed and see what happens. I don't notice them even moving. I mean, I'll try to push them back down, but they didn't really even move. So let's try it again. You know, yeah, it doesn't even seem like they're moving. Let's check this SD card. That's tight in there just like it was before I did that. So it does have the rubber seal here, this yellow rubber seal. That seems to be soft enough to where it would press into this channel that it has on the other side here. So as I close it, I do notice it going right in there, nice and neat, and clamp that down. And like I said, I see no visible gaps. I know there was at least one reseller that his title said waterproof. I just want to talk a little bit about that. I tend to believe the water resistance. As far as the one seller that advertises it waterproof, you know, when somebody advertises something as being waterproof, usually 100% of the time it's accompanied by a depth value that that item would be waterproof too. For instance, you know, they might say this is waterproof to a depth of 3 meters or to a depth of 9 meters, something like that. I don't know about that. The vast majority of them are saying water resistant. I fully, just by looking at this, I fully believe that. And I'm actually going to test it. Because a couple of the reviews that were negative said that just closing the case caused the cards to fall out, and it said to be careful when you open it, that they might fall out on the ground. I don't know. I've slammed it closed twice. Let's do it again. And now let's open this. I mean, they're not falling out. They seem to still be in there tight. I'm just not having any problems. Let's try maybe some of these other slots. I don't know. Let's try this. So we're going to push that in there. I don't know. How about this one? Let's put that one in there. And then let's change this one. It's got these little, if you notice these little arced areas here, that's makes it really nice to stick your, how about let's put this one up here, your finger in and pull these things out. You know, I did actually find that on these micro SD cards, it's easier if you put the side with the raised area in first. So if you put that side in first and then push it down on the other side, it does seem like it goes in easier to me. So I don't know, maybe some of these other people are doing it the other way and just hadn't thought of trying it this way. I don't know, but now that they're in all different slots, let's try this again. And I'm gonna shake it. I don't, you know, there were negative reviews saying that they shook it and they could hear them rattling around. I haven't touched those cards. You know, I actually, these seem to have not even moved. When I pressed on them, they didn't even seem like, oh, my thumb stuck on that one. But they seem like they hadn't even loosened up any, really. And I imagine if you chucked it hard enough, they might fall out. But then again, the whole case might break, and why would you want to do that anyway? So now what I'm going to do is I'm going to do some testing. I'm going to actually throw this thing against, I have a screen behind me. I'm going to throw this thing against the screen, it'll be about 12 feet, I think, and let this thing drop 8 feet. Then I'm going to run downstairs and I'm going to test the water resistance on this thing. Water resistance, in my opinion, would mean that I could take it out into the rain, you know, light rain, without fearing that the SD cards inside would become moist or in any way damp. I would certainly think that water resistance would cover if I dropped it accidentally and it landed in the snow. I live in Utah, so there's snow outside right now. If I dropped it in the snow and picked it up, and of course I would dry it off before I opened it, but to me, water resistance should certainly cover that. I would expect that the SD cards inside wouldn't be damaged. Anyway, let's get to those tests. All right, test number one. I've got the micro SD card here. I've got a micro SD card underneath this one. This is just an SD card adapter for a micro card adapter. The notched side is up and to the right, so I guess you'd call that right side up. On this one, the notched, and I moved this SD card over to the other side just to have one on the other side. You know, as a matter of fact, I'm going to put it in this other slot so that, you know, maybe if they're in the same opposing slots, they might help each other stay in their places. So I'm going to take that variable out of it. All right, so I've got them in there, pressed in there nicely. I'm going to close it and go over here. So where I'm standing, I'm 14 and a half feet from that screen. Let's toss it up there. and see what happens. Shaking it. I don't hear anything. Is that focus? So I'm shaking it. I've just tossed it 14.5 feet. That screen that I tossed it at, I hit it near the top. It's 8.5 feet tall. So with a 14.5 foot toss, it fell about 8 feet and hit the floor. I'm shaking it. I don't hear anything. Let's open it up. They're in place. There's test number one. They're really not even loose. I'm trying them out. They don't even really feel loose. All right, test number two. I'm going to test to see if it's water resistant. So like I said before, that's light rain, heavy rain, dropping in snow, stuff like that. So I'm going to put this on spray here. And I'm just going to run this underneath it both ways a couple times just to see what happens. That's about the extent of water resistance, in my opinion anyway. I'll dry it off because anytime you were to get this wet, you'd want to dry it off anyway before you opened it. Same thing with any other electronic device. If it ever got wet, you'd want to fully let it dry fully before you. So that seems like it's dry. I'm going to open it up. Oh, there's a little bit of water there. So we'll dry that. And open it up. Nice and dry. Nice and dry on the inside. There is a little bit of water in here, but that is in the center of where the hinge is. So if you notice, when that closes, it's on the hinge side of that yellow seal. So I'm not surprised that that got wet in there. The important part is I don't see a drop of water on the inside of this at all. Anyway, that should show you that it's at least water resistant. Alright, hello again everybody. I'm back now at my desk, and as you can see, I just can't see where there's a problem with this case. I think I'm going to enjoy this case for a long time. I think it's going to last a long time, and I can easily rate this thing 5 stars and another home run by Amazon. I hope that helps, and thank you for watching.